It's Saturday, April 4th, 2026. You're listening to the DX Today AI Daily Brief. Today, Microsoft pledges $10 billion to supercharge AI in Japan. Google drops Gemma 4, its most capable open models yet. And AI now leads all reasons for US job cuts. Let's get into it.
Microsoft announced a landmark $10 billion investment in Japan, stretching from 2026 through 2029. The commitment centers on three pillars: technology, trust, and talent. Microsoft will build out AI infrastructure alongside Japanese partners, Sakura Internet and SoftBank, who will supply GPUs and computing resources with data residency kept inside Japan. The deal also includes partnerships with Meichten TT Data, NEC, Fujitsu, and Hitachi to train 1 million AI professionals by 2030. Sakura Internet stock jumped 20% on the news. The announcement was made during a visit to Tokyo by Microsoft Vice Chair Brad Smith and builds on the $2.9 billion investment Microsoft made in Japan back in 2024.
From investment to innovation.
Google DeepMind released Gemma 4 this week, calling them the most intelligent open models to date. The family includes 4 variants: a 2 billion and 4 billion parameter effective series for edge devices, plus a 26 billion mixture of experts and 31 billion dense model for heavier workloads. All are released under the commercially permissive Apache 2.0 license and built from the same research behind Gemini 3. The models support context windows up to 256,000 tokens, native vision and audio processing, and fluency in over 140 languages. The 31 billion variant claimed third place on Arena AI's text leaderboard, beating models 20 times its size. Google is clearly gunning for Meta's dominance in the open weight space.
Shifting to developer tools.
Anysphere, the company behind the popular AI code editor Cursor, released Cursor 3 this week, a ground-up redesign built around managing fleets of AI coding agents. Developed under the codename Glass, the new interface shifts developers from writing code directly to directing, monitoring, and reviewing autonomous agents that handle feature implementation, testing, and deployment. Users can now run multiple agents in parallel across local, SSH, Worktree, and cloud environments. The product is Cursor's answer to Anthropic's Claude Code and OpenAI's Codex, arriving as the industry moves deeper into what many are calling the third era of AI software development, where agents tackle larger tasks independently with minimal human input.
Now to a major workforce shakeup.
Oracle executed what analysts believe could be the largest layoff in the company's history this week. Employees across the United States, India, Canada, Mexico, and other countries received termination emails at approximately 6 a.m. local time with no prior warning. Investment bank TD Cowen estimates the cuts will hit between 20,000 and 30,000 employees, roughly 18% of Oracle's global workforce of about 162,000. About 12,000 of those were in India alone. The reason? Oracle is making a capital-intensive bet on AI infrastructure that its current balance sheet cannot comfortably sustain. Analysts estimate the cuts could free up $8 to $10 billion in incremental free cash flow. To fund data center expansion.
Turning to China's AI race.
The information reported Friday that DeepSeek's V4 model launch is now imminent after multiple delays. The 1 trillion parameter mixture of experts model has been held up by the need to rewrite code for Huawei Ascend and Cambricon chips, as Chinese AI companies work around U.S. export controls on NVIDIA hardware. DeepSeek V4 will feature native multimodal generation across text, image, and video, a 1 million token context window, and leaked benchmarks claim 90% human eval and 80% plus on SWE Bench Verified. If those numbers hold, the model would be competitive with the best U.S. frontier models, while reportedly costing only $5.2 million to train.
From models to regulation.
California is cementing its role as the de facto national testing ground for AI rules. Governor Gavin Newsom signed Executive Order N526, strengthening procurement standards for AI companies seeking to do business with the state. Companies must now explain their policies on distribution of illegal content, model bias, and potential violations of civil rights and free speech. The order also enables California to separate its procurement authorization process from the federal government's if needed, a clear reference to the Pentagon's recent dispute with Anthropic. The move comes as the Trump administration pushes for a national AI standard that would preempt nearly all state-level regulation. But with California being the world's fourth largest economy, its rules are likely to become the industry baseline regardless.
More on the policy front.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee signed Senate Bill 1580 into law this week, making the state one of the first to ban AI systems from representing themselves as qualified mental health professionals. The law, which takes effect July 1st, prohibits any person who develops or deploys an AI system from advertising or representing that the system can act as a therapist or counselor. It passed the state Senate 32-0 and the House 94-0. Enforcement includes a private right of action, with civil penalties of up to $5,000 per violation. Behind this legislative wave are tragic stories of teenagers who died by suicide after interacting with AI chatbots, and lawsuits that forced Google to settle.
Now to the jobs picture.
The Challenger Gray and Christmas jobs report released Thursday paints a striking picture. U.S. employers announced 60,620 job cuts in March, up 25% from February. For the first time, artificial intelligence led all reasons employers gave for layoffs, accounting for 15,341 of those cuts, or 25% of the total. That is up dramatically from 10% in February and just 5% for all of 2025. Technology companies alone announced 18,720 cuts in March, bringing the 2026 total to 52,050. However, there is a counterweight. Hiring plans also rose 157% in March, with many companies simultaneously cutting in some departments while expanding AI and security teams.
Turning to enterprise AI.
Salesforce unveiled a major AI overhaul for Slack this week, announcing 30 new features that transform Slackbot into an autonomous work assistant. The standout addition is reusable AI skills, which let users define specific tasks that Slackbot can apply across different contexts, pulling information from channels, connected apps, and data sources. Slackbot now functions as a model context protocol client, meaning it can connect to and coordinate with outside services, including Salesforce's own Agentforce platform. Perhaps most ambitiously, the agent can now monitor your desktop activities, track your deals, conversations, and calendar, and make actionable suggestions. It can also listen to meetings on Zoom, Google Meet, or Slack huddles, summarize decisions, and log action items directly into a company's CRM system.
Staying with big funding news.
OpenAI has officially closed what may be the largest private funding round in history. The company's latest raise totaled $122 billion in committed capital, up from the $110 billion figure announced back in February, according to CNBC. The round values OpenAI at approximately $852 billion. The company now reports 900 million weekly users and is investing heavily in infrastructure to support its ChatGPT super app, which combines chat, coding, search, and agent capabilities into a unified experience. This comes as broader AI venture funding hit record levels in Q1 2026, with investors pouring $300 billion into startups globally, up over 150% from the previous quarter.
Now to social media and AI.
Blue Sky made waves this week by unveiling Addy, a standalone AI assistant built on the AT protocol and powered by Anthropic's Claude. The app lets users design custom social feeds using plain language prompts, like show me electronic music from people in my network or builders working on agent infrastructure. Former Blue Sky CEO Jay Graber now Chief Innovation Officer, presented Addy at the Atmosphere Conference. But the reception has been polarizing. About 125,000 users have already blocked Addy's Blue Sky account, making it the second most blocked account on the platform after JD Vance. The app is currently invite-only for conference attendees, with a public waitlist now open.
And finally, a fresh data point.
New data from Crunchbase confirms just how dominant AI has become in the global startup ecosystem. Investors poured $300 billion into 6,000 startups in Q1 2026, up over 150%, both quarter-over-quarter and year-over-year. It is the highest quarterly total for global venture investment ever recorded. AI startups captured roughly 90% of total capital raised, with just 3 companies, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Waymo, dominating $189 billion of the February total alone. The sheer concentration of capital in a handful of AI leaders is reshaping the venture landscape and raising questions about whether smaller startups can compete for both funding and talent.
That's your briefing for Saturday, April 4th, 2026. For DX Today, stay curious.